Hey guys, welcome back to Down and Dirty Modding. I'm Dave, and today we're going to talk about LEDs. Now, we've all become participants in the RGB revolution, willingly or not, but to be honest, LEDs have really kind of come into their own in modding, and you rarely ever see a case that doesn't have them. I mean, motherboards have LEDs now, graphics cards. I think there's some SSDs that have LEDs built into them. I mean, power supplies have LEDs. I'm having a hard time thinking of a large ticket item that doesn't have an LED built into it. Radiators have LEDs. Oh my God. What's next? LED connectors. I'm calling it right now. LED connectors, because we've got fittings with LEDs. We've got reservoirs with LEDs. Graphics cards, hard drives, blocks, memory now, RGB. Motherboards, power supplies, pumps. That's it. Pump tops will be RGB, and wire connectors. That's all that's really left. Holy crap. But all jokes aside, lighting is really kind of useful inside of a case. And that's what we're going to kind of we're going to gloss over some of the uses and some of the products that are out there for you to introduce lighting into your case. So as far as uses go, the big thing that I use it for, and I see a lot of it used for, is just to light up the interior of your case. You've put a lot of work into all these mods and all this hardware that you've put in. You want to show it off. You don't want somebody to have to grab a flashlight to see something you've done. You want it to just stand out on its own. So you throw some LEDs either in the top corners or the sides and the back, and voila, you can now see all your hardware. This one actually has a bonus effect of adding to the contrast of the white and the black. But basically now you can see the work that's there. It's kind of nice. You can also use it to light up blocks. They do some edge lighting or some back lighting to give it some glow. You can do edge lighting on acrylic that's etched. It gives it a really nice effect. Makes that etching really stand out and take on the color of your RGBs. So there's a lot of different uses, and I mean, I'm not even scratching the surface of what you can use them for. It's just the tip of the iceberg, but that's the biggest thing I see using them for. The interior lighting to just show off the mod, and then to draw your eye to certain pieces of hardware or certain aspects of the build. I'm going to go ahead and shut this sucker off real quick. As far as products to go for putting light into your system, I need to get a little bit of help from a 12-volt power supply here. I bought it years ago and finally found a good use for it. Who knew? The first thing we want to look at are light strips. Now, when I say light strip, I mean something that's already pre-wired, ready to go. This is a dark side, and it's a hard strip. There are flexible versions, but basically this is a bunch of LEDs soldered onto a board with a pin on it, and it's already tailed, ready to go and plug in. And these will actually plug into an adapter. A lot of them plug into fan headers because you're all running 12 volts on those, and that's what these need. So the dark sides come with a header that keeps the polarity right as far as positive and negative, and that's very important in LEDs because if you flip the polarity on them, they won't work. So basically you plug that into their adapter, plug that into a fan header, and boom, you've got lights. That's what I used in this case. It doesn't get much easier than that. If you've got an open fan header and a little bit of time, you can put some of these in, no problem at all. The biggest problem with these that I have found is controlling the intensity. I know that some boards out there, the fans don't have a lot of manual control as far as voltages, and I usually use the voltage on those fan controls to adjust the brightness. So I've got a couple of them where I can dim them down wherever I want. I do have one board, I won't name the brand, but it bites. Man, I can't turn it down at all. Have yet to figure it out. Geez, that's horrible. But it is kind of annoying because you know, these things on full brightness are super intense. So you want to be able to have some way to kind of tone them down a hair so they don't overwhelm your system. So these are great. The one thing you will have to worry about is having something that actually has the right ability to control how bright they are. These also come in tailed LED versions. Basically just a single LED with the same connector, and it works the same way. These are good if you've got a graphics card or a block or something that has spots where you can slip an LED into it to edge light it or backlight it, and they just plug into a fan header like the other ones, and you're good to go. Go ahead and plug that. Now next up, we've got a little more involved light strip. It's still a light strip. It's still LEDs on a strip wired together, but it's sort of a roll your own kind of a deal. If you go this route, more than likely you're going to be doing some custom wiring. They do make adapters that clip on to like the RGB strips with the 4 pins that actually just snap onto these and will allow you to get back to regular wiring, so you don't have to wire on these strips, or solder on these strips, which is really annoying and difficult. But it is going to take a little bit more work because they're not tailed normally. Now what I've got here is a strip of RGB and a single red. So this one will only be red. This is 16 whatever colors, 16 million colors, whatever you can come up with. And this also has a plastic coating on it for waterproof abilities, in case, I guess, you have a leak in your system. You at least won't have to replace your LEDs. Really, all it does is diffuse the light a little bit more, but it does make it a real pain in the butt to work with because you've got to get this coating off to get to all your terminals, and then it doesn't work around corners very well because of that coating. Your bends aren't very sharp. So usually the uncoated versions are a little bit easier to work with. Now if you go this route with the single strand, you can, or with a single color, you can just wire it up with some wire, solder it together, hook it into a fan header, you should be good to go. These RGBs take a little bit more effort. I'm not sure if you can actually wire these into new motherboards with the RGB headers. I'm assuming probably so. But more often than not, you're going to get those, and you're going to get one of these little control boxes that you wire back into your power supply. And what that does is, I've got it connected to some of this RGB strip right here. That will let you control the color, any flashing, any effects, any breathing, how bright it is, turn it off, turn it on. The bad thing about these is they're cheap. That's also the good thing about them, is they're cheap, but expect to get what you pay for. And probably expect to get what would be cheap if you were actually paid for what it costs, even though you paid for something more expensive. All of these things seem to be really kind of crappy. I've got a nice not infrared, this is infrared. I got a nice RF setup in my other rig, and the controller on it is really super particular, and it's just almost a nightmare to try to get the remote to work. And on that note, the remote for this one doesn't really work. It halfway works. Let me turn this on and show you what I mean. So we turn it on, we've got a nice color. Obviously you can fit this around anywhere in your case. You can wrap it around in circles. You can do just about anything with it. It's very, very flexible. And basically all you would have to do is go in and take the backing off. Don't rely on the adhesive on these, but put your own two-sided tape on it. But tack it up somewhere and you're good to go. Now, this remote doesn't turn them off, which you would think it would because it has a power button. So you're thinking, well, Dave, change the battery. Well, I did. And in 3 other different remotes. It's all the same. I can change some of the settings in like the user set presets, but that's all it, and it also will change into like the preset breathing and stuff like that. But I can't change the color and I can't change the power. I wonder if I can change the brightness. Nope. So don't expect a lot when you buy one of these, but if it does work, it's very handy. The bad thing about the infrared ones, which are the cheaper ones, is you've got to have visibility of this little receiver. So somewhere on your build, you've got to have that up where you can point at it with your remote. Although these things are a pain in the butt, they're super great. They have a lot of uses. I would probably go this route in a build just because I've got that ability to change the hue just a hair. Like I say, my build up in my main rig, when I originally designed it, I was thinking red LEDs, man. I've got an Asus board. It's like a maroon color. Red's going to be perfect. Red fluid, awesome. Red LEDs. But I put RGB strip in it just in case. And it turns out that pink is actually the best color in that case. And I don't know why that works. But with pink, everything seems to pop out. And with red, everything seems to drown out in the red. So RGBs are nice because it gives you that extra ability to adjust on the fly. These strips are nice because they're cheap, but they do take a little bit of extra work versus the plug and play light strip kind of pre-tailed stuff. So basically it's whatever you're comfortable with. I guess that's really kind of the overview. I mean, there's really not much else to go into. There are obviously different kinds of lighting out there. I guess I could show you the red one too. This is the single red strip. I had a little trouble with the connector on it, but whoa! We're shorting stuff out. Awesome! Yep. Great. Okay, there we go. That's not shorting anything out, but just single solid color. A little bit of a pain to hook up with this connector style. Now, probably what I'll do is disconnect that so I don't short anything out unintentionally. Get back in there. Get back in there. I don't want to see the lights. Probably what I'll do is at some point in a later video, I will go into... Oh, those are not working anymore. Oh well, whatever. Show them all. We'll go a little bit more in depth in setting up a case with some of these lights. Go into stringing them out through your system. Wow, those are hot. Running them, getting them stuck where they need to be stuck. Wiring up our control boxes because you do have to go out and buy your own connectors. That's how cheap they are. And then how to wire that back into your PSU. So that'll be an upcoming episode. But I think probably next week will be a special episode. I've got a secret project that I can't tell anyone about. But next week I can tell people about it. So I've already kind of worked it out to where I can shoot some videos of some of the mods I'm doing on a real live case mod with new hardware. It's amazing. It's going to be kind of nice. So check it out next week. Keep your eyes open. I should be posting it up on YouTube and throwing out the word on Facebook and Twitter once I get it done. It'll probably be sometime in the middle of next week, maybe towards the end of next week. So whenever I get around to it, kind of a thing. We are super busy right now. Me and the mouse in my pocket. I'm super busy. So there's that, and I guess that's all I've got. So take it easy and go out and mod something, guys.